What's up, guys? It's Jim with Awaken TCG, bringing you guys a very exciting video today because I'm sure, as you can already see on screen, we finally got Blackbeard as a leader in the One Piece card game. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to Blackbeard getting on a leader card, probably since OP09 and the game's inception. Myself included, very excited for this card, but without further ado, let's get right into the effects. So Blackbeard, by no one's surprise, is a mono black leader with the 5 life, 5,000 power, standard monocolor leader. He's going to be a 4 Emperors and Blackbeard Pirates type leader, and then he's going to read, your on-play abilities don't activate. So pretty much, you aren't playing any cards with on-play effects in this deck, which sounds very weird because that's probably the most common effect in this game. But let's get into his second effect. Activate main, you may trash 1 card from your hand. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent's on-play abilities don't activate. So basically, this leader just makes a cage match between you and your opponent where on-play abilities are not a thing. Except, obviously, you're going to have the advantage because you have crafted your deck without any on-play abilities to begin with. So pretty much this leader is going to counter a lot of leaders and a lot of very strong cards in the current meta. And I'd say invalidate even some other decks. Very similar to his ability in the manga, where he just completely takes away your Devil Fruit power. And that's obviously what they're going for with this ability. I love the flavor, and I love the effect. So what I wanted to do today is kind of do a bit of speculation. You know, what cards do we have in the game right now that would be good to run in Blackbeard? What decks does this do good against and completely destroy, right? Let's go over that right now, starting with what cards I think are going to be played in Blackbeard. But obviously, we are expecting Blackbeard Pirate support, obviously going to come out with the leader that I'm sure will not have any on-play effects and will be playing those cards for sure. But these are the ones in the game right now, courtesy of Eggman Events right here. Just creates a very easy viewing experience. First up here, we have Brook. Brook does have an on-play effect, but his when attacking effect works. So basically, this is going to be one of the only ways right now in Black that we can KO something without an on-play. If you look through the entirety of Black, pretty much every single KO effect is an on-play effect, right? Which means Blackbeard as a leader is pretty much just going to completely invalidate every other Black deck. When you build a Black deck, you will literally need to think from now on, do I auto-lose to Blackbeard? Like, this leader is going to be an absolute menace. Next up here, we have Kobe from the starter deck 8. This card I actually played back in the day when I played Black Luffy in OP04, and it did some work. This was a really decent card. Obviously, a lot easier to swing into, but if this is one of our only options to KO characters, then we might have to be playing this card, as it is one of the only ways to KO stuff without an on-play effect. I don't know, maybe Blackbeard doesn't even go the route of KO effects. His support could be completely different. I'm just thinking if we're doing the standard Black stuff, these are what we're going to play. We also have Laboon here from EB. Has not seen any play whatsoever. However, in an environment where both of us are not able to use on-play effects, I think Laboon could be very strong and an actual contender in a Blackbeard meta. And next up here we have Jack. Jack has already played a lot in the current OP08 meta. This card is a menace for sure. And I think there's almost no doubt this one gets played in Blackbeard at the very least. This card's already really good, and the activate main every turn just makes a lot of sense. And last but not least, Kaido from OP08 as well. This card sees definitely less play than Jack. It is not played a lot, but it's still a very good card. Being able to just send a character to the trash right away with 7 or less is really strong. And it's an activate main effect, so could definitely see this one being played as well. So that is pretty much my Blackbeard speculation. There's not really any point in doing more until we see any support cards that he gets, right? Then maybe we'll make a video on that. But what I do really want to do, and I think is the main reason I wanted to make this video, is go over the current decks that are really good over in the East right now and see if Blackbeard would just completely destroy them. So first up, obviously we have to talk about everybody's favorite, RP Law. So this is an RP Law list that won one of the championship series over in Japan. And let's just go ahead and count the on-play effects in this deck, right? So we have right here Shachi and Penguin first is a very, very prominent card in Law. Blackbeard completely says, okay, this card doesn't work. Next up here we have the Toy Law 4/5. Same thing, on-play effect. Does not work. You are not minusing any power of my characters with this card. Queen, nope. No drawing with this card. Otama, nope. No cost reduction. One thing though, the Raise Max and the Gordon, they are activate mains. So these are actually your main power reduction in Law. So you can still get these off, no issues at all, right? Which might mean that Blackbeard doesn't have a great matchup into Law. Sure, your cards like Shachi and Penguin, Queen, even like Law and Reiju and stuff aren't going to be able to go off, sure. But you can still bottom deck Blackbeard's characters with Gordon and Law, right? So for that reason, maybe it's not really a good matchup for Blackbeard. So I don't think Blackbeard is going to be toppling over the meta. However, there has been a ton of talk that RP Law is going to get either massively restricted or banned. So we will see what the future has for us as far as this deck goes. But as it stands, I think Blackbeard wouldn't be an auto lose against RP Law, but it doesn't look good. We obviously have to see his support first. Next up here, we have Black Yellow Luffy. Still a very, very strong deck in OP09. And I'm going to tell you right now, guys, this deck is completely invalidated by Blackbeard. The whole point of this deck is you have to get your Morias down and recycle leader effect. Moria is an on-play effect. Moria does not work. It's basically like Moria isn't in the deck. We have an 8/9 vanilla. If Blackbeard just, knows you're going to 8 or 9 Dawn next turn, right? I know you only really do Moria on 10 Dawn. But if Blackbeard knows you're going to 10 Dawn next turn, or he knows, okay, the only way you can survive at this point is play a Moria next turn, I'm just going to do leader effect, and you can't do Moria. Straight up. There's no counterplay. Completely invalidates this deck. Blackbeard will be probably 100-0 against Black Yellow Luffy, which I don't have any problems with. I think this deck's very one-dimensional, and I think the fact that if we counter one card, your whole deck crumbles, that's kind of your own fault. Next up here, we have Rob Lucci, a very, very strong deck as well, with a host of on-play effects that are very strong. We cannot search with Spandam. We cannot play our own Morias in this deck. We cannot do any cost reduction with something like a Tempest Kick, Meppo, Khalifa, anything like that. You cannot do. Spandine doesn't work. Rebecca doesn't work. Lucci doesn't work. Kaku doesn't work. Like, basically your whole deck just doesn't work. Jack is the only thing that is going to actually be able to activate its effect every turn. So I think Lucci has a fighting chance against Blackbeard, but as I was saying earlier in the video, I think Blackbeard's going to just destroy Black deck straight up, unless Black gets, like, along with the Blackbeard support maybe. If it's not leader locked, every Black deck might start running the Blackbeard stuff because they're activate main KO effects instead of on play. So that is something to think about. NL, that went 8-1 here at a CS in Japan. It got 3rd place, so NL still really good in OP08 as well. But NL is another deck that Blackbeard is an auto win into, right? The whole thing with NL is when you get 2-0 life, you need to get yourself back to 1, right? No questions asked. If you don't, you're dead next turn. However, the only way we can actually do that are with our Katakuri, Yamato, and 10 cost Ace. And spoilers, they're all on plays. Yeah, on play Kata, play something to life. On play Yamato, heal 1 KO. On play Ace, heal 1 rush. So basically, Blackbeard says, as soon as I get you to 0 and 0, you are never getting back to 1. Which means your whole deck doesn't work. And you lost the game. I think this goes for pretty much all yellow decks, right? Katakuri can't use Big Moms. Obviously, Katakuri is not as good anymore, but I think any yellow deck that wants to heal, now they don't get a heal. Just straight up. This deck's going to be toxic. I'm not going to lie. People are excited for it now, but if this becomes an issue in OP09, guys, I really don't think everybody's going to be so happy anymore. This does not sound like a fun deck to play against. And the meta is definitely going to need to shift around Blackbeard for sure. We're going to have to start running a lot activate mains, a lot more win attackings. Obviously, Blackbeard himself cannot do on plays, but, you know, the deck is going to be built with that in mind. So that is going to be the video, guys. Really excited for Blackbeard. As I was saying, awesome leader. Yeah, we'll see. Time will tell if this leader is completely broken and invalidates every deck in the game, or if he's just a really, really cool leader that is going to counter some of the meta decks and allow decks like maybe RP Law not to be so powerful anymore. So, anyways, guys, that is going to be the video. I hope you're as excited for Blackbeard as I am, but without further ado, thank you guys for watching the video. This has been Jim with Awakened TCG. You guys have a great day. Peace.